the 6-week-old packed lunch in an Asda bag just flung in at the bottom. A greeny blue, gooey, mould-covered, pulsating mass from the rugby trip away weeks ago. Well, now that I am completely sure there are no other rotting pieces of food or animals in the room, I have been searching for a plug-in air freshener that doesn't smell too puffy.
I came up with the idea because I found out that someone I went to school with my flatmate, was keeping a blog, and we had that kind of morbid curiosity, you know, what's happened to him. So we went and checked it out, found out what he was up to, and we got completely addicted to his life story. And inevitably, after a while, started reading it out to each other, and I thought, hey, this would work really well in a theatre. So I spent 2 months looking on the internet through thousands of blogs to see the ones that had the best stories that really hooked you in. And that's how I stumbled across Sam's blog amongst the other 9 stories that are in the play.
The other night, we had him over to dinner. He strides into the lounge and shakes my hand. A bit too long. Sweating palms. I've been working on a helpline, a drugs helpline, he says, at me. It doesn't have the tone of a brag, but it is. Oh, do you have a lot of experience with that? On this he hardens. No, it's filth. I've got a zero tolerance to drugs. Zero tolerance to it. I've never had anything. Ah, well, you know, I've had a few drinks, but no drugs. I suddenly get paranoid that he can see my red eyes, my heavy eyelids. I smoked a joint about an hour ago and he knows. He knows. What about you, Samuel? Have you ever tried drugs?
I wrote my blog about my neurotic family, who are very comic and also very strange. And I thought, really, it's too funny not to put up for someone else to read it. So I began to write about them, and people began to put comments. So as you write a blog, people can put comments. And I had an immediate audience, you know? And so every time my family did something absolutely neurotic and hilarious, I wrote about it. And then along came Ollie, and now I'm seeing my own family played out on the stage, which is very strange.
No, I'm really opposed to them, actually. I think they ruin people. Turn your brain to goo. I had a friend who tried half an ecstasy, and now he's a vegetable. On a machine. He has to use a tube to eat. My mum gives me this look, but he just believes me. I can't stop. Because what happens is, you see, the pushers, when they come into the club, usually they're pretty girls, and when they kiss you, they'll slide it into your mouth. And then when you're high, that's when they ask you for the money. And if you don't pay, they'll spike you with crack.
They're all thematically interlinked, so broadly speaking, they're all talking about the same things at the same time. But there's not one overarching story. What was important for me was that each character in the play had their own character arc. When I was choosing the blogs, I went back through people's archives to make sure that they've changed over time. So we really get that sense that you get when you read blogs and become addicted to them, that you want to keep revisiting them like a real-life soap opera, find out what happens.
We decided that it must end, that months of drifting apart have taken their toll, and that we no longer love each other as two people in a relationship should. Why are we so confused then? Why does it feel so right to hold his hand and to hold him and to comfort him? Are we doing the right thing? Why aren't there any answers to these questions?
Yeah, we needed to get permission, and I wanted to get permission anyway. I would have only felt comfortable with it if we got permission. So I wrote to everyone, people like Sam, back in January. I didn't want to freak people out and say, even though they put it in public, I didn't want to freak them out by saying, hey, I've written a play about your life. I thought that would be a bit weird. So I started off by whittling it down to 25 blogs I was interested in and just trying the idea out, would you be interested in being in the play? And all of them were somewhere between happy and euphoric, to be honest, to be contacted. Everyone that wrote a blog was just really happy to be included in the play.
I think it's this fundamental human need to have to confess to somebody else. Previously, we've gone to the wise man in the village or the priest, and these days people confess to the blogosphere, they confess to the World Wide Web. And it's a very cathartic, therapeutic thing, actually, you know, and it's the way people are getting through their problems these days in the modern world.
Now, I have apologised for the names because they weren't nice. Nothing personal, just nasty words like bitch and whatnot. Although I did call her a slag, which of course she's not, but I was in pain and quite angry. However, I have still not received an apology, even though I've explained it to her the way I have here. We're okay now, but only because I let it go, still without an apology and still with a lump. Yeah, a lump. It bloody hurt.